I think people forget that once upon a time, MJF was squished and squashed by Wardlow and also Samoa Joe, and I believe Sammy Guevara, and MJF looks stupid. So, again, this is not the first time AEW's done this, and a lot of you don't watch the product. My name is Wraith Realm TV. Make sure to rate, like, and subscribe and get your favorite beverage and get what you need and come to enjoy the show. Your favorite commentators back. Like I said, I just want to say this because a lot of you are losing your noodle on Facebook groups, like pages, X, Blue Skies, like just purely losing your mind. Over what? Over what? Nothing. You guys are losing your mind over nothing and then trying to justify it. Look, it's either going to be short-term booking or long-term booking. And the reason I'm kind of getting the vision on why they did it is because Darby Allin's a face, and a lot of the people that are trying to go after the title are heels. Tommaso Ciampa, Swerve Strickland, Kenny Omega that's probably going to turn heel because he's going fat shit crazy because he didn't like losing to MJF. And then also they could give it back to MJF. And I'll correct, what's going on, from some of you that are fake raging and rage baiting and getting upset over nothing. To be honest, there's a lot of connect the dots with Darby Allin because now you could bring Swerve Strickland back into play. You could bring in Wayne, back into place with Mother Wayne. You could do anything that connects Darby Allin that helped him get to where he needed to be. For instance, you could bring in Wardlow back. You could bring in Brody King into the fold to make him heel. You could do so much different things, right? With Darby Allin there, and there's plenty of talent that you could do that with. Ricochet. You could do, so many different things with that, right? There is plenty of heels in AEW that they can work around Darby Allin as a face. Then if they give it back to MJF, they could keep going on the transitional path of what they need to do with that. They can run it back with Kenny Omega. They can run it with Will Ospreay. There's plenty of face. Kevin Knight again if you wanted to. So TK's looking at short-term booking and long-term booking options. And he goes with his gut. He has said this on podcast. I wasn't surprised that Darby Allin won the belt. I really didn't care because Darby Allin's been sitting there on the bench kind of ready for a title reign. They were going to do it before he climbed Mount Everest, but he got hurt and then came back and they had to deviate after he climbed Mount Everest. The original plan was for him to hold the belt and go up to Mount Everest and do the whole 9. That's what they originally were going to do with Darby Allin. But instead he did the flag of AEW and put it up there and shared all of his love for AEW. And he's also an OG. When people don't realize he's an OG pillar of the company. He came from Evolved when Evolved was a thing before WWE bought it, and he was looking for something. He was going to be brought into NXT, and he declined an offer and came over to AEW and became an original pillar. You have MJF, Jungle Boy, Jack Perry. You have tons of different things that are original pillars. Eventually, Jack Perry will be a heavyweight champion. He is literally a pillar. They're going to find a way to make him champion. You have Wayne with Mother Wayne. Look, there's so many different storylines they could do with Darby Allin. Darby Allin has that Danielson vibes to where it's the unexpected. Small man, unexpected, not the typical wrestler you think. You can have Wardlow come back. You can have him fight a Jericho. You can have him fight a crazy Kenny Omega, which Kenny Omega has gone crazy back in New Japan days. You can have Swerve Strickland. There is plenty of storyline there for Darby Allin if you want to go down that path, which people won't love and they'll hate this reign and they'll say this is the worst reign and Tony Khan's the bad booker. I said this in my post that all you people are predictable because you're going to moan about booking. You're going to moan about Darby Allin. You're going to moan about TK and say he's not Booker of the Year because of this. And you're going to complain. And then you're going to complain when MJF does win the belt back. And you're going to go, oh, well, Tony Khan's trying to please the fans because of the backlash. And you're going to try to say that shit. That's going to be the new thing coming out of Double or Nothing in 4 weeks at Arthur Ashe Stadium. A lot of you are going to find ways to complain. Like TK is damned if he does and damned if he doesn't. That's what's going on. And he's been doing a lot of good things. He put belts on people that needed belts. Now he's giving you Okada and Kadeshita, finally, which should have been done months ago. And probably they're going to make Kadeshita finally a built-up character, okay? Konosuke Okeshita, they're going to make him into a character to where possibly they could have him go against Darby Allin and beat Darby Allin. Look, sky's the limit with this. Like, I'm okay with Darby Allin winning the title. I'm not upset over it. I'm not mad. I thought, okay, they should have done this 6 months ago. They had the perfect storyline to do it last year at Texas. They could have done it then and had it off of Jon Moxley then, when Jon Moxley was getting go-away heat. Remember that go-away heat with the Death Riders? How everybody said the Death Riders was kind of like the new tribal chief and the whole Roman Reigns and his cousin, the OTCs and all that. Remember that? Remember how all you guys were comparing Jon Moxley? People have amnesia when it comes to wrestling and the industry and things like that. People were saying, go away heat with Jon Moxley. Now, look, I've been proven right. Everybody's liking the Death Riders again. Everybody's liking Marina Shafir. Everybody's liking Jon Moxley for what he's doing. And it's long-term booking. Look at how TK has made you change the whole perception of the Death Riders. Come on now. I love how fans want to go one way, and then when they don't get it this way, they go this way, wrestling fans, and then they want to say it's absolute cinema. Like, to me, it's like wild how wrestling fans are in 2026. You know, just sit back and enjoy the ride. What happened to being that as wrestling fans? And instead, you have content creators and big content creators. You have radio shows, all this fake rage. And then on top of it, if people are not picking up, look what's going on with WWE with Jey Uso literally beating the crap out of a radio show person, or these wrestlers going on these shows and beating up radio hosts to create fake heat so they can get ratings for WrestleMania because they're losing by the day. Come on, guys. Come on. If you're going to call this out for what it is and you think this is bad, then you need to call out all the extra hokey pokey shit that's going around the wrestling industry. Look at the bad booking in TNA. Take a look at the bad decisions that are going around on some of these shows, man. And we're talking about Darby Allin being a sinner and a problem and all this different stuff, when I was okay with him beating the way he beat MJF. And MJF has done this before where he's tried to put over talent and it's not come out looking good. Wardlow rings a bell. I believe he tried it with Moxley. He's tried it with Samoa Joe, and it just comes out. This is the one downside with MJF. I'm starting to realize he can look like $1 million winning something, but trying to put over somebody, he looks really bad. And that falls on AEW on that one. And that's why they're kind of getting the semi-backlash over this, but it's not justified. A lot of the paragraphs I read, a lot of the things that I see are unwarranted and unjustified. It just makes no sense. To me as a person, as a whole, it just makes no sense. And then people want to lose their effing minds. People want to lose their shit. And then you got these big content creators that are sitting here and making more than it needs to be, a big stink. And then you have these creators that are on X that, you know, they're analyzing like a Stephen A. Smith. And even then, it's like I'm listening to it and it's like it makes no sense. People don't understand short-term booking and don't understand long-term booking. And why does everything have to be like WWE to get over? Why does everything have to be a TNA booking to where it's slop and it doesn't get over and it doesn't work? Like, I don't understand that logic with the IWC, YWC anymore. It's like you want it one way, then you don't like it that one way, and then when Tony Khan goes against the grain, you shit on it the next minute. And then you guys all forget that MJF has never been good at putting over people. And people haven't realized that over the past, 5 years, like since AEW's been around, like people forget that MJF's not been that good. And it's been the same with certain characters in AEW. Like their build up to certain things haven't been good. Hopefully when Darby Allin does lose the title, he puts over somebody and does it the proper way, because MJF didn't do it right. And that falls on AEW. That's where you give AEW shit on, is that. But to sit here and say Darby Allin didn't deserve shit and it's a bad booking decision, to be honest with you, they should have done it a long time ago. They were going to do it. It was in the plans. If you read the news and the articles and everything a year ago, leading into Allin, Texas, he was supposed to climb Everest with the belt, come out and lose. That's how they had it scheduled, but he got hurt. Then he was in the hospital. Then he had to climb Mount Everest. Then he left. Then he got squashed. Then all this shit happened. They should have put the belt on him sooner. They didn't pull the trigger. They had storylines already to go. This is typical AEW. People need to understand what's going on around them. Instead of moaning and groaning, look at the long-term vision. And the difference is between Tony Khan and I keep saying this about Triple H. Triple H has TKO to answer to and board chair partners and people that have a say in it. TK don't. TK's his only booker that he is. And you guys got to understand that. There's going to be times you're going to love it and there's times that you're not. It's the same when Vince McMahon, when he was doing his single booking without a team and making decisions for him and going into business for himself. You're going to like certain things and you're not going to like certain things. That's just life when it comes to wrestling. It's the same with Scott D'Amore. It's the same with Colon, right? Carlos Silva, right? You don't like half of the shit he's doing. And yes, he is fucking up hardcore. But again, he's going into business for himself. And Tony Khan has said this before on interviews. If you follow the coach and bro stuff that he was saying and the same thing across the board, once again, here we are. He said that he was going to go into business for himself and he does what his gut feels. And this is obviously a Tony Khan felt that he needed to pull the trigger now. It was predictable when you saw the ads come out during Dynasty. When Darby Allin was cutting promos, you could tell it's for the title. When they bring in Sting or they show off Sting at some point or Sting says something, right? You already know what's happening. You already know in live time. Sting's already talking about his son at Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling over the weekend winning. And that's going to be an awesome thing. And they're building Stephen Bolton Jr., Sting's son, or his son, right? They're building him up to get ready for an AEW run. And when they do it, I hope they don't butcher him or botch him. And they're putting him in the right places, getting him built to be an AEW superstar or talent. So at the end of the day, I am happy Darby Allin won it. Am I upset over it? No. Need to be done. It took too long. The problem is it took too long to get to this point. And Tony Khan's kind of at fault for that. I will say Tony Khan takes too long sometimes to pull triggers, but he really didn't have a choice when you were building Adam Page, you were building MJF, and you were building Swerve Strickland. Swerve Strickland is going to come back and probably play a factor, probably Wardlow. You're going to see some talent coming back that you didn't expect. You still got Jay White on the board, too, that was in top-tier title contention. And then you have Tommaso Ciampa, you have Kevin Knight. So you have plenty there for Darby Allin to utilize, to work with, and play with. Then if you want to go back to MJF at Double or Nothing at Arthur Ashe Stadium, then okay, I'm cool with either way. It makes for an interesting all-in season. It's going to be interesting. All in, all out, it's going to be interesting this year. Double or Nothing's going to be interesting going forward. And if this makes me an AEW fanboy, then so be it. At the end of the day, man, I just watch wrestling, and I have common sense and a brain, and I don't have amnesia like some fans do. Like, some fans have amnesia, and they forget that this is not the first time Tony Khan's done this. It's not the first time, and it won't be the last time they do this. So, again, when I say these things, I'm going to watch people cry in my comment section and try to justify Tony Khan being a bad booker of 2026 when you need to look at the bigger circle of things and understand that, okay, he's done one bad thing this year. And if we want to go there, and the rest of it was really good. He has been on top. But just because he did one thing you didn't like does not make him bad booker of the year. That would be like an NFL team making one bad move in a trade, and then they lose a couple of games, and when they win the Super Bowl, oh my God, they're terrible still. Like, come on, stop it. Why are we fake raging on the internet? Anyway, my name is Wraith Realm TV. I will see you guys in the next one. Guys, keep it raw and uncut and unbiased. Keep it real. Keep it moving. Keep it flowing. Happy WrestleMania weekend. Happy WrestleCon weekend. If you are going, I'm happy for you. And I'll be watching WrestleMania and all the stuff that goes alongside of it, all the side events. I will see you guys. Guys, this fake heat over Darby Allin winning, man, it's so funny, man. I find it interesting. And this is long-term, short-term booking. If you know TK, this is what he's known for. He's done it with Willow Nightingale. He's done it with Tony Storm. He's done it with many other talents. Mercedes Moné. Fucking Mercedes Moné, okay? He's done it before. It's not the first time. And he's done it, like I said, with Mercedes Moné. He's done it with Athena. He's done it with Billy Starks. He's done it with many different talents. Sammy Guevara, Chris Jericho. Come on, people. Watch the AEW product. Stop picking one thing and just to moan about. Man, just to complain. That tells me you don't watch the product. Tells me you don't watch long-term stuff. And if you listen to Bully Ray and Mr. Mark Henry. Sorry, I've brain fart. Mark Henry, motherfucking Mark Henry. These guys are well known and documented for cheap heat and wanting to create rage with their audiences. Same with JD from New York. Same with a lot of these people in the IWC, YWC. They create fake hate because that's where the rating's at. They're not genuine towards you and their takes. Look at them like gassing this up and losing their minds and flipping cameras and looking at cameras and ranting for 30 minutes, and none of it makes any sense. And Mark Henry should not be talking about AEW, period. He's the same guy that shit on them and said they have no long-term creative plans. The same dude that walked back into WWE recently waved his hands in midair like you just don't care. The same dude. Same fucking dude. And Bully Ray should not be talking because he's taken so many bad takes this year alone. And also, same with Dave Meltzer. Same, like, I don't get these people, man. I don't get the IWC, YWC, and I don't know how you guys worship these people because they get the shit wrong. And it's like, Tony Khan's damned if he does and damned if he doesn't, right? So, keep it raw, not cut, not biased, my personal opinion, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.